Hi guys, first of all, welcome to the fourth and final week of the Faster Fat Loss HIT Challenge. I hope that you're enjoying all of the programs and the nutrition side of things so far. In this last week, your nutrition target or focus is now shifting towards one of the macronutrients that we call protein. Okay, so far we've looked at the role of hydration and why hydration is really important for not only giving you more focus, but for giving you that extra little bit of satiety as well, which is going to keep you feeling fuller for longer and help to actually reduce your food intake a little bit to initiate those weight loss and those fat loss results. We've looked at how you actually use something like MyFitnessPal to start tracking your food intake to understand how much you're eating and how that breaks down into things like protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And then last week, we started to teach you a little bit about how you can calculate your calorie intake. So as we progress now, we're looking at the role of protein. And the reason why protein is really important is that of the three macronutrients, so carbohydrates, fats, and protein, it's protein that's going to have the biggest influence over your weight loss and your fat loss results. Now, the reason why that happens is that protein has the most significant influence of what we call your satiety. So that sensation you're feeling satisfied and feeling full after you've eaten a meal or a snack is mainly down to protein. Now, the other macronutrients, carbohydrates and fats, they do have an influence over satiety, but that influence doesn't last for as long as what protein does. So if we're looking to try and limit your food intake and reduce your calorie intake to create that calorie deficit, it therefore makes sense for us to try and up the protein intake to try and give us as much sort of bang for your buck when it comes to the foods that you're eating and the influence that that has further down the line. Now, when it comes to actually understanding how much protein do you need to be consuming, we're all different. We all have different weights. And the easiest or the simplest way to start off is to use what we call the personal protein target. Okay, so this is a range of proteins from the bottom end to the top end. And the way that you calculate that is you take your body weight in pounds, and first of all, you multiply it by 0.75. Okay, so take your body weight in pounds, multiply that by 0.75, and that's going to give you the lower end of your protein target. To figure out the top end, take your body weight in pounds, multiply it by 1, so just whatever your body weight is in pounds, and that's going to give you the top end target. So you want to be somewhere between the bottom and the top end on a daily basis. So the example that we're using here, somebody that weighs 170 pounds would have a protein target of between around 127 to 170 grams of protein per day. Now, the interesting thing here is how you actually break that down into meals and snacks throughout the day as well. So if you were trying to hit that lower end target of 127 grams, and you broke that down into, for example, 3 meals and 2 snacks, that's around 25 grams per serving, okay? So each meal that you have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, the 2 snacks that you'll have in between, you want to try and get 25 grams of protein in each of those meal opportunities throughout the day. And simply put as well, if you're trying to hit that top end target of 170, then you would need 35 grams or around 35 grams of protein per serving. So the task here is, first of all, to calculate that protein range, but then to go away and do a little bit of research on the foods that contain the highest amounts of protein, and just try and figure out how you can start to then utilize some of those foods, how you can incorporate them into your day-to-day routine. Bear in mind that most animal and dairy foods are going to give you more protein, but if you're eating vegetarian or vegan, then you can still hit these numbers. It requires a little bit more thought and a little bit more planning. But if you are planning out your meals, then you are being more conscious with your food choices as well. And that is going to play to your benefit when it comes to the fat loss and the weight loss results at the same time. So make sure if you've got any questions around what we've talked about in this video, make sure you use the community. You can use the main community to ask those questions. We'll be on hand to answer them as well. Good luck with this one. This is the one that will have a big impact. Make sure that you're still focusing on your hydration, your overall calorie intake and tracking your food, because that's going to give you a lot of insight. This is now just nudging the dial a little bit further and looking about how you can incorporate more protein into your day-to-day routine.